Hey dyslexic friends, my name is Nishantha. I am a science teacher teaching here in Southern California. And in this video, I'm going to show you the ecosystem of technology that I use every single day to navigate the world. Using these tools and apps, I feel like I'm 10 times smarter than I am normally. I think they're kind of like my secret weapon to getting a lot of things done in a short amount of time. So I split this video up into two parts. In part one, I'm going to show you my hardware ecosystem, and then part two, I'm going to show you the suite of applications that I use almost every single day. So let's just jump right into the video. All right, so the main reason why we're going to be using a technology ecosystem is so we can create a second brain with it. We're going to be creating a digital extension of your mind. All right, so check this out. Our organic brain is actually made up of two layers. One is built on top of the other. The lower layer is called the hindbrain. It's basically in charge of our emotions, and it also controls some of the automatic functions of our body, like breathing and going to sleep, things like that. The second layer is called the cerebral cortex, and it's kind of in charge of our higher cognitive functions like perception, logic, consciousness, things like that. You can think of our technology ecosystem as the third layer of intelligence that sits on top of the two organic layers of our brain. So once we have this digital brain in place, we can use it to do a lot of different things. We can tap into it to access our mental models. We can use it to access our knowledge base. We can use it to learn things a lot faster. We can use it to think better. And we can even use it to manage our lives more effectively and efficiently. So the most important thing when it comes to creating a second brain is the whole ecosystem of devices that you use have to be able to work seamlessly together. So you should be able to start a project on your laptop and pick it up exactly where you left off on your cell phone. It should be as if there's one system that lives inside all your devices that are all connected to each other and are able to communicate effortlessly and seamlessly with each other. As I'm making this video, Apple products and devices are the best in the market right now. And the reason why they're so good at being able to communicate with each other is because they're kind of designed to do that. They all use a very similar operating system, whether you're using a laptop, a cell phone, or a tablet. They all kind of use the same things, and they're able to use lots of different ways to communicate with each other, like using iCloud and AirDrop and the App Store. All these things just kind of sync together and work together really well. So my recommendation is to use Apple products because of the seamless integration and the ability to communicate with each other. But if you don't have access to Apple devices, or for some reason you don't like using Apple devices, feel free to use anything you want. Just keep in mind that you won't be able to use the same exact apps in the same way I use them, but that's okay because Windows and Android has very similar applications to Apple. And most of the things I use, there will be a version of that that's available for Windows, and there will be a version of that available for Android. The only problem is those applications are not able to communicate with each other really well. So if you have the ability to pick up some Apple products, do it. If not, that's totally fine. You can totally follow along. So when it comes to your ecosystem, you only really need two devices to get started. You're gonna need a laptop and you're gonna need a phone. Everything else is kind of like a bonus. You don't really need them, but they will make your life easier. And you can always add other devices into your ecosystem later on once you have your second brain kind of set up. And that's a really cool thing about this second brain concept is as technology progresses, your system will kind of get better over time. Also, another good thing is that all the apps and software that we're going to be using to build our second brain is pretty light, which means that they're not going to require a lot of computer power to run it. So if you have an older computer or an older phone, you should be just fine. They should just kind of work within your system. All right, guys, so I'm going to show you the devices in my own personal ecosystem of technology, but please don't feel like you have to have all these to get started because you don't. Only thing you really need is a cell phone and a laptop. And the cool thing is you can always add in other devices as, you know, time progresses. So once you have access to these things, your second brain will just get better and better. And as technology progresses, it'll get better and better, like I was saying. The first device in my ecosystem is this 2015 work issue MacBook Air. It is super lightweight, it's really reliable, and it runs all of my apps flawlessly. So this is pretty much an integral part of my workflow, and it just sits in my backpack and I use it all the time. Yeah, so the second device is this 2019 MacBook Pro 16-inch. I have it connected to a ViewSonic 38-inch display. I love using this MacBook with this display because I'm able to split the, I'm able to have multiple windows and stuff like that, and it's really awesome. Another thing I use with this computer is this Razer Black Widow mechanical keyboard. It's like awesome to type in, and I have this Razer Naga mouse that I use with this setup on my desk right here. So for our purposes, for building a second brain, this setup is kind of overkill. You can just stick with having a MacBook Air or other laptop, and you should be able to run all the apps with it. So the only reason why I have this setup is because I do some video editing, and that requires, you know, a little bit more power than the MacBook Air. Yeah, I recently upgraded from a Windows computer to this MacBook Pro because I didn't like how my mind was getting fragmented when there was like files on this PC that was not in my second brain, and that was really frustrating. So the third device on my ecosystem of technology is this iPhone 11 Pro Max. Before this phone, I had a iPhone 7, so you definitely do not need the latest iPhone to run a second brain. I just got this because of the camera system, and I've been shooting a lot of home videos with it. By the way, there's a playlist on this channel called iPhone Home Movies, and I shot all those movies and edited all those movies just using this iPhone right here. So that's the only reason I have a newer iPhone. The fourth device on my technology ecosystem is this 2015 12-inch iPad Pro. The only reason I got it used was for this Apple Pencil. I have a bunch of other iPads and some that were issued to me by my work, but I don't really have any use for them. The only reason I have an iPad, like I said, was so I can write using this pencil and I can draw using this pencil. And I gotta tell you, as a dyslexic, being able to have another input into a device that is not just, you know, with the keyboard and the mouse is amazing. I'll show you guys some cool apps that I use this Apple Pencil with, but it gives you the ability to not just use words to brainstorm and store information. It also lets you use like your visual mediums like sketching and doodling and things like that. And that has really helped me to think better. And the last device in my ecosystem is this. This is the first generation AirPods, and this is probably my favorite thing, physical thing that I own. I use it pretty much every day, a couple hours every day, and yeah, obviously you don't need this. You can use any headphones, but if you can cop a pair of these, they're really good. The thing that I love about these is the fact that it makes it so easy for me to listen to audiobooks. Whenever I'm doing anything, anywhere that it doesn't require me to think, I pop this in and I listen to an audiobook. And before it was really hard because I had to go through a drawer, find my, you know, like headphones, uncord them, do a bunch of stuff, and then like put it on. And by the time I do that, you know, that's 5 minutes. But with this, it's frictionless. Just pop them in and it just automatically connects and it automatically plays the last thing when you do Siri. So yeah, it's great. If you can cop a pair of these, get them. I highly recommend them. All right guys, so I'm gonna show you guys the suite of applications that I use in my second brain and my technology ecosystem. So although I can pretty much access all of my apps on all of my devices, I do have some preferences in how I put information into these applications or how I use these applications. So there are some apps that I primarily use on my MacBook, there are some apps that I primarily use on my iPhone, and there are some apps that I primarily use on my iPad. This overview that I'm giving you guys right now is not meant to be a comprehensive tutorial. I am going to be giving you a workflow of each of these applications and how I use these applications and combinations to get certain things done and how I use it to input things into my second brain in a future video. This part is just meant as an overview and just to give you an idea of some of the apps that I use. So let's go ahead and start with Roam Research. Now Roam is pretty much the heart of my second brain. And right now it's in beta, and I'm sure they're gonna open it up to the public really soon. But this app is a personal database for my knowledge. And it's pretty cool because you can kind of think of it as like a Wikipedia page that I use to link up ideas together. And I can create like these webs of interconnected thought. And when I use this application, what happens is I get serendipitous information that I've intentionally put into this database that I can use later on to help me with whatever I'm trying to do, like creating content or trying to solve a problem or even like reflecting on my life. This is hands down the best personal knowledge management system there is. But before I found Roam, I used a system or a application called Notion. And Notion is a note-taking app that you can kind of has the same ideas that Notion has, but it's just made very pretty. It looks really good because it's already a consumer product. And I love typing on here, and whenever I'm writing a script or whenever I'm writing an email or something, I use this to do my typing. And this app is really good for also managing projects as well, and I'll show you guys how I use this app to manage projects in another video. The next app that I want to talk to you guys about is something called MindNode. And MindNode is a brainstorming app, and basically what it allows you to do, it allows you to break complex ideas down into its constituent parts. So when I was designing this course, for example, this playlist, this masterclass, there's a lot of ideas that I had, right? I mean, this is the culmination of like 5 to 10 years worth of work, and all that time I've been kind of doing my independent research on it. So I needed to take all those ideas that I've had over the last 5 years, and I needed to condense it down in a way that's really easy for you guys to understand. When it comes to breaking down really complex ideas and figuring out the diamonds that you need to extract from there, this app is really good for that. Another thing that MindNode is really good for is deconstructing really complex skills. So whenever you're trying to learn something difficult, there are usually little skills that are stacked on top of each other to create this bigger skill, and MindNode allows me to kind of deconstruct those big skills into little skills and figuring out the 20% of the things that are going to give me the 80% of the results in those little skills. So when I stack them all together, the result of my big skill will be really powerful. I'll be showing you guys how to deconstruct skills and learn skills in another video in this series as well. All right, so the next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is Google Chrome. So on my MacBook, I run Google Chrome as my internet browser. And the reason why I like Google Chrome is because it allows me to sync across my devices. And Google Chrome also has web applications that are called extensions that will kind of enhance your web experience. It'll also save your passwords, your bookmarks, and things like that across all my devices as well. And it uses Gmail, so whenever I log into my Google Chrome, it just syncs all across, even if I'm using a PC, like I sometimes do with this one down here. The next thing I want to talk to you guys about is my cloud storage system, which I use is Google Drive. So Google Drive is a cloud storage solution as well as a suite of Office applications like Google Slides, Google Sheets, Google Drawings, things like that. And a really cool thing about Google Apps Suite is that it allows you to collaborate with other people. So if someone has a Gmail account, you can jump on a document with them and collaborate on something. And that's why I really love Google Drive as well. There's 4 apps that I use on my iPhone all the time, and these are Audible, Podcast, Speechify, and Google Photos. So Audible is my go-to audio book reading app. It's a store, a library, and a media player. So it's like a 3-in-1, and it syncs across all my devices, and it's pretty explanatory. I listen to audiobooks with this thing. So the podcast that I use is the default podcasting app on iTunes, and this thing is pretty good. It's not amazing, but I use it on my iPhone, and it does the job. The next app that I use on my iPhone is called Speechify, and Speechify is really cool because it allows you to take any internet article or a book or anything that has text, and it allows you to turn it into speech. I also have it installed, like with all my devices and all my apps, I have it installed on my MacBook as well, and I sometimes use it when I need to like proofread my emails or something. I'll just highlight something and I hit Command twice, and it'll just start reading what I just wrote, and that way I can catch grammatical mistakes and spellings and things like that before I send emails out to people. The next app that I use on my phone is called Google Photos, and Google Photos is really cool because it's unlimited photo storage for photos and videos, and I do a lot of photography and cinematography. So sometimes I run out of storage, so Google Photos kind of solves that problem for me, and I have it installed across all my devices. So the next set of apps I use majority of the time on my iPad. All right, so the first app that I want to talk to you guys about is the Kindle. And the Kindle is really cool because it lets you read books on your iPad. And the really good thing about reading apps on your iPad is the highlighting feature. I have it synced to another software or a service called Readwise, and it automatically takes my highlights that's on my Kindle across all my devices, and I also have a regular Kindle for reading at nighttime, and it syncs them to this database, and then I can extract all those highlights and I can throw it into my Roam second brain. And what that does, it allows me to like really dig into the reading and get reminders later on of what I read years and years ago. The second app that I use to read is called Instapaper, and whenever I'm reading internet articles, I always like to throw it into Instapaper first, because I can also do highlights using Instapaper. And the good thing about highlighting on Instapaper is it also allows you to sync it to Readwise, so that way I can take the best ideas from articles and also put that into my second brain. Also, this app will read to you as well, so I can just come over here and then hit speak, and then it will just start reading the article just like an audiobook. And another cool thing about it is while it's reading, it's going to kind of highlight the words as well. So it also gives you some practice of using decoding. We'll get more into that in a future video, but I thought it's really useful to show you guys that as well. The last app that I use on my iPad that I love using my iPad for is something called Notability. Now, Notability is a app that allows you to interact with your iPad with a Apple Pencil, and it'll just let you write just like you would on a regular piece of paper. But the really awesome thing about Notability is it allows you to kind of record your voice as you're writing. So you can take notes, and if you had an idea that you can't express with writing, you can just kind of talk over it. So if you're drawing something, you can kind of be like, yeah, so this project requires a circle, and then the length of it should be about 24. And then what that'll do is while you're talking, it'll sync your words with the marks that you did on the page, and then later on, when you want to play that back, you can hear your voice as you're drawing these things out. So the act of writing and the act of writing on this, the act of doodling and writing will be linked up with the act of speaking, and then you can re-listen to some of this stuff. So if I was to play this, I can. As you're writing, so you can take notes. Requires a circle, 24, and then and you can touch certain parts of that image to take you back to what you were thinking while you were making that. Those notes on your page. So that's the suite of technology that I use with my technology stack. So stay tuned for the next couple of videos, because I'm gonna be showing you my exact workflows for each and every single one of these apps. Sometimes I use these apps in combination with each other to accomplish more than they'd be able to do by themselves. Really looking forward to that. See you in the next one. Bye, guys. Friends, the YouTube recommendation engine is an AI system. It's an algorithm that shows you videos that it thinks you like to watch. So if you like to learn how to leverage technology to become smarter, build your personal monopoly, and master your dyslexia, like this video, subscribe, and leave a comment. If you do that, it'll teach the YouTube algorithm that you like videos like this one. And then YouTube will start showing you the rest of the series on your homepage. So if you don't want to miss out on this opportunity to master your dyslexic mind, like this video, leave a comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Love you. Bye.